Global entrepreneur,
International entrepreneur and best-selling author Rupal Chandian.
Great to be with you, Melissa, and good morning, Houston.
So, the big question is, how do we handle objections? One thing that you really need to understand when you're in sales is, if you are rejected by objections when you're trying to sell something, you miss the game completely. What does that mean? Which means that, I think it was Harvecker who said, if people didn't say 5 no to you, one more time, if people didn't say 5 no to you, you haven't even started the sale. So if 5 people didn't say no to you, you haven't even started the sale. So that's really, really, really important, right? So you get objections, feel rejected, you lost the game. Okay. So how do we handle objections? I'm talking very slow. Hopefully, if you're from different countries, if you're not able to follow me, if you want me to talk slower, let me know. I'll be happy to talk slower. And I know people from different countries tune into this and listen to this from different places. I think this is being streamed to my YouTube channels, my Facebook fan page, and a couple of other groups. If you want me to speed up, sorry, I cannot speed up. Okay, so how do we handle? What are the 3 ways to handle objections? So today I'm going to talk about 3 things to handle objections. And 2 of them are mindsets only, like 2 mindsets that you really need in order for you to handle objections. And one strategy to handle objections. That's what we're going to do today. Okay, so the first thing that you really need to understand in order to handle objections is understand that objections are beliefs. What does that mean? So let's look at you. You're trying to sell a product, a service, or something. And when you're trying to sell a product or a service, what is your belief? You believe that this product, I really hope you believe that your product is valuable for your potential customer, your prospect. You believe that. What do they believe? They believe that they don't know. They don't believe what you believe. So in reality, sales is basically, you're not selling a product or a service, you're selling a belief. And why is that important in terms of objection? I'll tell you that in a second. But before that, I'll tell you how to isolate these objections and break them. And I'll share that with you in a second. But before that, you really need to understand that objections are beliefs. And you have a belief that this product is good for them. And if you don't, that's a different problem that we need to discuss later. But if your customer is not believing what you're believing, at the end of your sales conversation, then you lost the sale. So either you both believe that your products suck, or in some cases, the product is not good for them. That's fine. But if you wanted to offer this product or service to this company or this person, and then they say that, no, this is not good for me, when you are not selling to them, essentially you are agreeing with them on their belief that the product sucks. This is not good for them. Do you understand what I mean? So objections are beliefs. To deeply understand that, they believe that your product sucks. You believe that your product is awesome. And this is a battle of beliefs. Imagine that. So 2 people are getting on a conversation, and one person is trying to convince the person. Imagine that you are trying to say you are a cricket fan, or so most people in the US will be like, what the heck is cricket? So I'm going to say a football fan. So you're a football fan. Another person is a basketball fan. So if you're a football fan and you are going to the other person who is a basketball fan, and you're convincing her that football is the real game, you should enjoy this, that's the best game. And so you're sharing your belief with them, and the person who really likes the basketball game, what he is doing, she is convincing you that basketball is the game. This is what is happening in sales. You're convincing that your service is really good. So your entire sales protocol has to be designed to do that, and we'll talk about that in another video. You need to have a system to handle that sale. We'll talk about another video. You need to find out what their deep problems are, and then help them find the root cause for it, and then help them to connect your product or your service with their problem, and they will buy. That's a different topic altogether. But objections are beliefs. Understand this. Like, if you don't understand this, you might actually miss the whole idea that I'm going to share next. Okay, objections are beliefs. So they believe that it's probably not worth to invest in your product right now. It's a belief. You need to change their belief. There are so many ways to change belief, which we will discuss in a second. But the second thing that I want, and this is an extensive topic, I'm trying to be as brief as possible so that I could move to the second step, which is second things. Objections aren't personal. They are not personal. So I already kind of alluded to this. I kind of mentioned this in a different way, that don't take it personally. Somebody is saying like an objection, you feel personally attacked. This is another mindset. Then you're screwed. Because they are not personally attacking you. They believe that your product might be good for other people, your service might be good for other people, but it might not be good for them. That's all what they're saying. When somebody is saying an objection, sharing an objection to buy your product, they are not saying that your product sucks. We kind of discussed like that in a few minutes ago. But reality, what they're really saying is, your product might not work for me. I suck. I don't know how to use a product. I might not know. I might fail. So it is the customer, it's a prospect that is feeling that I might fail if I just use my product, if I just use your product. And there are so many people who are listening, and so many people all over the world use our model, use the model that we created. People from 14 countries use the model from 90 Days Life. This is a book that I have written. If you're curious about it, go to Amazon, it's available almost everywhere. Just get a copy of this, read it 3 times, and this will teach you how to run a successful business. There are people who are running like $50, $100 million companies with the $1 million companies, okay, using the model from this book. And we also have written this book in my native language. It's in Malayalam, which is a language from south of India in Kerala, which is a beautiful country. If you haven't visited, beautiful place. So go visit. Beautiful state. It's called God's own country. Go visit this place. It's beautiful, and you'll get to see some of the most beautiful places in the world. Okay, good. So we are getting into the third thing. But before that, let me clarify this thing. Objections aren't personal. They are nothing but questions. So think about it. Somebody is asking you a question. So they have a belief about something. They have a belief that the product might not work. It might not work for me. It might be too inconvenient for me to do this, or this might not be worth the money that I'm paying for, or this might be an idea for future. I don't need to do it right now. I could do it later. And they're letting you know that through a question. So they're asking you a question. So what do you do? What you do is you would respond to them as if it's a question. Don't take it personally, and say, you know what? Okay, so you have a question. Good. So so we are going to get into like how to handle this. First, in your mind, understand that those are beliefs. In your mind, understand that objections aren't personal, but they are simply questions that these people are asking because they don't feel good yet. They haven't bought into your idea, your belief yet. And then you go into the third step, which is actual strategy. Isolate objections. So somebody is saying an objection. You tell them, okay, so you convert that immediately into a question. Somebody says, So the price is too much. So what you say is, so you have a question about the price. Good. Is that the only question you have? This is what we call as the isolation of objections, which means that they said, okay, so in other words, you ask them, if the price was okay, would you be able to buy it? Is that the only reason? Is that the only question you have? I didn't use the word objection. I asked, is that the only question you have? And then they will be like, no, no. There's one more question. And then they say another objection. And then you convert that into a question in your mind. And then you ask them, are these the only two questions you have? And they're like, yeah, that's it. These are the only two questions you have. Okay. So isolate the number of objections before you move on and crushing them. Makes sense? Isolate them, which means that make sure that you do not have more than, like, I don't want them to come back to you. I don't want them to come back to you half an hour later saying that, there was another thing. There was another thing. You already asked them, is there anything else? If the price was okay, and if it's like still convenient, do you think you will be able to buy it today? Buy it today? Like, are you ready? Oh, now I need to ask my wife too. Okay, got it. So if you're able to ask your wife, and then the price is okay, and then if it's convenient for you, will you be able to make your decision today? Do you see that? So you isolate the objections. And of course, this is an extensive topic. And like I said, you could go read it in my book. And I do like different programs in different parts of the world. And there are online English in different languages. So you could come attend one of my events of one of my 1 year journey or something like that, and get deeper into this. But for now, you isolate these objections, and then you start answering questions for them. Not objections, answering questions for them. So you kind of sneaked your way in, because you kind of sneaked your way in. I think somebody, one of my team members, put the link for our Amazon book. I don't know whichever country. Can you put one for US and one for India? Because a lot of people are from India and US. So put those two links there. Thank you. Yeah. So you answer these questions. So you found 3 questions that they have. First of all, objections are beliefs, and they are not personal, and they are questions. So you take these objections and convert them into a question in your mind, and then you tell them, okay, so you have 2 questions before you move forward. You have 3 questions. It's 3, not 2. You have 3 questions before you move forward. Got it. Okay. Let me answer the first question. This is the first question. Let me answer this. Is that clear? It's good. Okay. Let me answer the second question. Let me answer the third question. This is how you handle objections. That is it. And it might sound like when you're hearing this for the first time, it might sound like a lot of steps. But in reality, in simple ways, objections are beliefs. You have a belief about your product. The stronger belief you have about your product, it's easier to do this thing. Remember, sales is 2 people believing 2 things, walking away with a different belief, which means you believe in your product, they don't believe in your product. At the end of your sales conversation, if they believe remotely close to what you believe about your product, then sale happened. But at the end of the call, you have less belief about your product, and they are so convinced that your product doesn't work for them, then there is a belief shift in you. It's a losing game at that point. Makes sense? So that's why you need to build strong beliefs about your product. In your mind, you should totally feel that your product is totally good for them. Stand for your client and be honest with them. And if you know that it's not going to work for them, then what you do? Tell them that. Be honest about it. Tell them, no, I don't think my product is going to work for you. Do this or do this or do that. Makes sense? That's how you do sales, effective sales, intelligently. So that's my topic for today. Whatever you want to learn, wherever you're listening, I know people are listening from 5 different platforms. So wherever you are listening, make sure that if you have a question, put that in the chat, whether it is Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else. Wherever you're listening, put your question in chat. I would love to talk about whatever questions you have, and then help you answer that. My mission is to help entrepreneurs all over the world in 50 different countries to grow their business to the next level. And I want you to be in that journey. I want your journey to be the journey that is moving forward, that is taking business to the next level, achieving financial independence, and doubling your business, and doubling your business, and doubling your business again, until you feel like, you know what, I have done this enough. I could exit the company. I have made my money, and I have grown to the next level. All right. So I look forward to seeing you next time. The 3 ways to handle objections. 2 mindsets. 1 is objections are beliefs. 2 is objections are impersonal. And you convert objections into questions. And after isolating them, making sure that, you know what, these are the 3 objections. Let me answer this question. Question number 1, this. Question number 2, this. Question number 3, that. And we'll go from there. Until next time, Rupal Chandy signing off. Bye.
You had to go through some crazy experience in your life. I understand that. But you can change that today.